welcome back to my channel. My name is Isa and this is Treats with Isa. Today I'm showing you how to prepare one of my ultimate favourite treat, my ultimate favourite treat I think, so yeah it is, top 5 at least, and it's called a No-Bake Oreo Cheesecake. Intrigued to find out how I prepare this? Stay tuned.
So the ingredients I have is fresh whipped cream, Oreo Originals. I've got the Cadbury Dairy Milk Oreo edition. I've got baking block, but you can use any butter that you have in the fridge. I've got silver spoon icing sugar, Philadelphia Originals soft cheese. I've got the Anchor Original squirty cream. And then I have the springform cake tin. So I've put a whole packet of Oreo Originals into my mixing bowl, and I'm using my potato masher to get the best crumble possible for this cheesecake. If you have a meat tenderizer, you could use that too. Alternatively, if you have a food processor, that's the best thing for you to use, because honestly you get the most smooth crumble possible for this cheesecake, which is ideally what you want. You don't want it to be lumpy, you don't want it to have any big bits in there, because we're going to have those bits later on. But for now, we want the base to be as smooth as possible. So keep beating until you get that perfect smoothness for your base. As I'm using a whole packet of Oreos for my base, I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of butter, which is going to make sure that the crumble is nice and moist and soft. So now I'm going to put the butter into the microwave, which will allow it to melt completely, perfectly, just what we need for our base. So now I'm going to pour the melted butter into our crumble mix. I'm now going to use my spatula to mix it properly to make sure the crumble is nice and moist. If you need more butter, don't be afraid to add 1 more tablespoon or teaspoon if necessary. So now I'm going to pour the mixture into the springform cake tin. Then I'm going to use my spatula to flatten it down just to make sure that we have the right base, the right level. If you want to add more crumble and you want a higher base, you can add more biscuit. However, I really wanted like as much of a thin base as possible, so therefore I've only used 1 packet. But if you want a larger base, a higher base, you can always add more cookies in there and just double the amount of butter that you place in your mixture. So flatten it, flatten it, flatten it, getting it right and even. So I now have my whipping cream into my mixing bowl, and I'm going to use my egg beater whisk in order to get the right fluffy texture that I need. If you do have an electric whisk, I do advise you now to use that, because this is a lot of hard work. The whipping cream has now been put to one side, and I'm now going to mix the Philadelphia Original soft cheese with 4 tablespoons of icing sugar. Again, I'm going to use my egg beater whisk in order to mix this mixture properly, and it can get pretty messy with the icing sugar going everywhere. So I'm now using the whipping cream that I've set aside to add into the soft cream mixture, and I'm going to use my whisk again to continue mixing this together. I have some Oreos which I set aside that I'm going to now put into the mixture and continue whisking. So now I'm going to pour out the mixture from the mixing bowl, and I'm going to place it right on top of our base using my spatula, make sure I've got everything out. Then I'm going to even it. I'm now going to cover my cheesecake with cling film, and I'm going to place it into the fridge for approximately 2 hours. So now I've released the Oreo cheesecake from the springform cake tin, I'm going to use the extra pack of Oreos that I have to decorate the cheesecake. This really is an Oreo cheesecake, so I'm going to use some Oreo crumble that I have left over, and I'm going to sprinkle this across the base of our cheesecake. Then I'm going to use the Anchor Original Squirted Cream, and I'm going to squirt some cream in between the standing Oreos. From there, I'm then going to use some more crumbled Oreos to sprinkle on top of the squirt cream. Now I'm going to melt the Cadbury Dairy Milk Oreo edition. Now I'm going to sprinkle some of the melted chocolate on top of our Oreo cheesecake. Voila! Our no-bake Oreo cheesecake is now ready for us to dig into. How amazing does this look? Thank you for tuning into my video. Until our next treat, take care!